I'm no one special. Just a miner who swings a pickaxe for his drinking money.
There was some ruckus over there by the weird black door. You weren't involved in that craziness, were you?
Been working in ironbreaker since I was a boy. Iron's a good stout metal, a fine thing for a Nord to dig.
Here to dig, that's all.
Yes? Hmm?
The miners. Don't pay much, but they let me sit by the fire in the inn most nights. I'm late, gotta run!
The damned nightmares have finally stopped. Don't suppose you'd know anything about that. Fancy yourself an alchemist, huh? Never could get the hang of that.
I work for the Wind Peak Inn. You should head on inside. If you know any true sons and daughters of Skyrim, tell them to head to Windhelm. Ulfric Stormcloak wants to see them.
Bullfrec, I have an order of swords and armor from the local blacksmith coming here. I need every piece polished to a fine shine.
Yes, my young. We could hardly waste anyone else's precious time on such a tedious task.
Exactly, Bullfrec. You always know your place.
I'm Skald's housecarl, and head of his guard in Dawnstar.
I've been in charge of Dawn. You've shown those monsters that they will no longer be tolerated in the Pale. Good work. Here, a reward from your Jarl. There is room in my court for a new Thane. It's an honorary title mainly, but there are a few perks someone like you could make use of. However, I could only grant the title to someone who is known throughout my hold. You help my people, and I'll make you my Thane. Good luck. Don't bother me again unless it's important.
Fight or die well. Until next time.
Just a servant of Skald the Elder. Not worthy of time or consideration.
Don't suppose you'd enchant my sword. Dull old blade can barely cut butter.
My duty is to guard Brina. Watch your hands around the legate.
I wasn't born in Skyrim, but when I served in the Legion, this land became my home. Stay out of trouble now.
Feel free to look around. Come talk to me when you're ready to discuss that job I mentioned. Those robes were worn during the Mythic Dawn's secret meetings, where they plotted to bring the Daedra Mehrunes Dagon into Tamriel. Each bolt of yarn used to make the robe was colored with a dye made from sacrificial blood. Ah, yes. That scabbard. Notice the insignia? An Oblivion Gate. A key symbol of Mehrunes Dagon, the patron Daedra of the Mythic Dawn. The commentaries on the Mysterium Xarxes were written by the Mythic Dawn cult leader, Mankar Camoran. He promised a paradise awaited his followers when they died, that they would be reborn by Mehrunes Dagon's side. That burned paper is all that remains of the fabled Mysterium Xarxes, the blasphemous book written by Mehrunes Dagon himself. It's said that Mankar Camoran used the book to open a portal to a paradise where all his followers would live forever. Did you have any questions about the museum, or would you rather talk business? They were worshippers of Mehrunes Dagon, the Daedric Lord of Destruction and Change. The Mythic Dawn killed Uriel Septim VII and his heirs, triggering the events that led to the Oblivion Crisis when the Daedra invaded Tamriel. All that remains of the infamous cult I've gathered in my museum. Ah, an excellent question. Mehrunes Dagon is the Daedric Lord of Change, Destruction, and Ambition. Dagon's Mythic Dawn cult killed the Septim Dynasty and opened the Oblivion Gates into Tamriel. They called it the Oblivion Crisis. It's no secret that my family were once members of the Mythic Dawn. One of my forefathers was even chosen to assassinate Uriel Septim himself. We hid from our past for years, became tradesmen, people of coin and influence. But I realized that the Mythic Dawn's importance, our importance, to history cannot be denied. I'll see everyone in Tamriel remember that for a moment, we held the fate of the world in our hands, for good or ill. A little history first. After the Oblivion Crisis, a number of groups cropped up dedicated to wiping out the remnants of the Mythic Dawn. One of these groups found Mehrunes' razor, the artifact of Dagon. They split it into 3 fragments and pledged to keep them apart forever. That was almost 150 years ago, and the pieces are still being kept by the descendants of that group, and they're right here, in Skyrim. At least 2 of the owners, Gunzel and Draskua, are dangerous marauders, and the 3rd owner, Jorgen, I only know he lives in Morthal. Here are my notes about them. I'll gladly pay you for getting the pieces any way you can. No questions asked. The razor is Mehrunes Dagon's personal artifact. It has always heralded bloody change and carnage. It's held many names. Dagger of the Final Wounds, Bane of the Righteous, the Kingslayer. The Mythic Dawn worshipped Dagon as a god. Having his razor would be invaluable to my collection. Good luck finding the fragments.